The final holy grail of Spyro speedrunning has been found today, and it's called Nestor Skip. Found by Dave's Bag of Bones, you might recognize that name as a guy who also found 5 different versions of Coveless and another holy grail called Early Loot. This time, he's taken a look at the one dragon in the game that causes more time loss than any other dragon. We're talking about the very first one of the game, Nestor.
Thank you for releasing me, Spyro. Transported to the next world.
He's the only one out of all 80 dragons in the game that you can't press X to skip the dialogue for. Why? Well, it's probably because he has a really important tutorial where he tells you to collect 10 dragons and suck a dick. Well, we have to start every run by talking to Nestor and going through his dialogue for 24 seconds before we can move on with the first level. Now, that may not be the case. You see, it's been known about for a long time that you can skip dragons by taking a death right as you touch them. This triggers a very unique glitch called zombie, which actually causes invincibility. But another interesting side effect is that depending on how you die on a dragon, it can actually allow you to bypass the cutscene and dialogue completely. Unfortunately, there's no enemy or damage source close enough to Nestor to actually trigger the zombie glitch on him and thus skip his cutscene. So for years, people have basically concluded that skipping Nestor is pretty much impossible. However, this isn't the only way to skip a dragon. You can actually interrupt their cutscenes by touching them through a portal or getting a void out. Now, you guys are probably familiar with void outs in your casual gameplay. You're running around, flaming enemies, but then you just barely miss a jump, fall into the void, curse to the heavens, and then take a death and respawn. But interestingly, that's not the only way to get a void out in Spyro 1. You can actually get Spyro stuck between 2 objects in the flop animation in mid-air. The developers coded a fail-safe mechanic that if you're in that animation for 5 seconds without touching the ground, you will void out and respawn. So how do we trigger a void out on Nestor while collecting him? There's nothing to get stuck on. Or is there? You can actually get stuck on top of Nestor just perfectly enough that you don't stay up there, but imperfectly enough that you fall down and touch his pedestal right as the void out occurs. Now, I just spent 2 hours trying to get this trick today, and I came up shorter than an Oompa Loompa's asshole on Christmas. I mean, like, this trick is fucking hard, guys. You have to perfectly line up right on the seam of the top of his head. It makes no sense to try to get Spyro stuck up there, because he'll fall over almost every single time. But let's just say by some miracle, you're able to perfectly get Spyro stuck on top of Nestor. Well, you still fucked up, because you have to let Spyro get imperfectly stuck enough that he falls down exactly at the 4-second mark to land on Nestor when he voids out. It's truly a fucked up trick, and I wouldn't wish this trick on my worst enemy. But just maybe, a setup could be found by some dedicated gamer. You know, we did it with Early Loot, we can do it here. Well, maybe. Either way, this is a big deal. Because I think, and this is bittersweet and I don't say this lightly, this could be the last major time save found in Spyro. My name's Dayo, thank you for watching. Either way, this is a